Hi guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Um, in the sections, I'm going to present it about my class task, that is Fiction Age class. So without any further ado, let's do it. In the section of this video, we are going about to criticize David Edelson's review about Cats 2019's film. But before we criticize David Edelson's review, I'm going to show you or introduce you what is Cats 2019's film. Cats 2019. It is a musical adaptation of the story inspired by the poem Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot. The film itself tells the story of a cat named Jellicle, I don't know how to pronounce it, who one night they decide to change their destiny for the better by crossing the heaviside layer. The film itself received unsatisfactory reviews and harsh criticism from critics, and also the film had low income in box office. Okay, in the sections we're going to discuss and critiques about David Edelstein review. We're going to discuss about scope and content. I think so far this review is quite good and explains clearly the views of people about this film itself, both in terms of setting, cinematography, and characters. But it is a little bit pity that he did not explain in detail the important element of this review, which is none other than the storyline of the film itself. Even though this is quite important considering that the storyline is often used as a reference for film lovers to decide whether they want to see the film or not, besides saying from the ratings, criticism from the critics of course. But as I said earlier that this review is quite good. Why? Because this review itself uses witty sentences which in my opinions make readers not bored reading this review. Uh, and not only that, he also linked this to what conditions we were experiencing at that time, I mean the COVID-19 pandemic, so that we felt relate to the reviewer. We're going to the next part. Okay, in here we're going to discuss storyline, organization, and development. In the section itself, as I said earlier again, he explained the plot incompletely, and this, in my opinion, is a pretty big shortcomings given the importance of plot in a film review. I understand some reviewers don't want to give spoilers to movie lovers, but if they don't have an imaginary pictures in their minds about the plot, characters, and setting, how can they decide whether they will watch the film or not? And also, the reviewer's explanations of the plot itself is not clear because it is mixed with some words which in my opinions are not directly related to the plot of this film. So it is very difficult to understand the plot of the film from this review. I mean, when I read the plot of the story of this film, he slipped some joking sentence which hindered us from understanding the storyline that we were reading. Maybe if I may suggest, he can add joke it at the beginning of the paragraph or maybe at the end of the story as a complementary seasoning. We're going to the next slide. In here we're going to discuss about language style. I think this part is very good. Judging from a few explanations, it can be seen that the language used is not formal but easy to understand and seems pleasant to read compared to formal reviews in my personal opinion. Apart from informal language, he also uses some jokes to make his review more lively and fun to read. This is good considering that usually people will only read the review at a glance. I mean, like this, after they know the plot and criticisms, they immediately finish reading the review. But in this review, you can enjoy the jokes provided, so it's not too boring to read this movie review, according to my personal opinion again, of course. We're going to the next slide. Okay, and here we're going to discuss about grammatical correctness. I think the grammar of this review is good enough, considering that David Edelstein has reviewed many parts of this film. The sentences themselves are easy to understand and not too complicated, considering that he also uses informal language, so that maybe his review seems more relaxed. We're going to the next. Okay. Um, I think that's all I want to share to you. But before that, I want to tell you that I already put the link David Ellison's review about this Cats film on my description. So if you want to read David Ellison's review about this film, so you just can click the descriptions and then read the review, of course. And if you have suggest, maybe you can drop in on the comment sections, so I know what is wrong with my criticize, or maybe what is incorrect in my criticize. Okay, I think that's all I want to share to you. Thank you very much for watching this. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.